allow me to take a moment to confess a great sin I carry on my shoulders. There is a significant portion of manga on this shelf that I've never opened, let alone finished. Funny, right? I went out of my way to buy some of this stuff, but never actually read it. You know, the thing you do with books? Not this one, not this one, no, no, big no, no, no. Why do I buy this stuff? I don't even know. I feel like a lot of the time when I see a good deal on manga at the store, I just grab it out of habit at this point. It's not my fault they left all 4 books from Legends just sitting there for $15. What is Legends? No idea, but it's $15. It's going on the shelf. Look, I got the ball rolling by admitting that it's a problem. Let's take it a step further, rectify my mistakes, and actually read some of these unread books. We'll make it a challenge. Whichever one of these targets that Sasuke hits gets read. Ready? Okay, our winner is Barrage. Yeah, I remember this one. I bought this first one, never read it, and then bought the second one a month later. Not to mention I got this first one on Amazon used and regretted it the moment I opened the package. Look at this. Library stickers, sales stickers, it's loose, it's torn. It's really sickening knowing that there's people out there who treat their merchandise so poorly. Now, Barrage, or Sensei no Barrage in Japan, is a 2-volume series that ran in Weekly Shonen Jump from May 2012 to September 2012. This is not a series that lasted long. This fell victim to Jump's infamous competitive environment. It was written and drawn by Kohei Horikoshi. I wonder what else he made before this. Okay, that joke won't last long. Yes, this is the debut manga of Kohei Horikoshi, creator of My Hero Academia, one of the most popular currently running manga. I don't have to introduce this one, but Barrage, I can't blame you if you've never heard of it. It's a weird case. This series ran for such a short amount of time, but somehow got a tankobon release, not to mention a release in the States. On the back of the book, they make mention of it being an easy 2 books to complete, so maybe the goal was to market it as a short, easy series to collect. Either way, this is an odd series to look at. Barrage follows Astro, a 15-year-old poor kid working in the slums to make a living for him and his 6 adopted orphan kids. After being fired from his only job, Astro has an encounter with the Prince Barrage, a prince who looks exactly like him. Prince Barrage is apparently sick of being part of the 1% and offers Astro a deal to take his place as prince and take his destined job to defend their world from the warring extraterrestrial beings that have threatened it for generations. You see, these characters live on planet Industria, and before the story took place, alien beings landed on their planet and started spreading chaos, and their planet's capital city is all that's left as civil society. I know, it's a lot to take in, but to wrap the summary up, Astro accepts the job and is handed a powerful weapon owned by the prince, and the prince is freed from the life that he hated, and is immediately assassinated. Astro is taken from his kids and is taken to the castle where he has to pretend to be a prince. Astro, along with the vice captain of the Royal Guards, Tiamat, is tasked to reclaim the planet from the chaos piece by piece and protect his powerful relic weapon, the Org, from those who want to take and use its power to destroy the capital city. Now let's start with the Org. This thing is really cool. It's a bracer wielded by those who are fit to rule in their world, and grants its user a powerful, all-destroying weapon that takes multiple shapes, though in the manga we only had time to see a spear and an extendable sword. I like this thing's design, and the action panels that come from its use are really good looking. And as the series progresses, Tiamat teaches Astro on how to use it more efficiently, and it's satisfying to see it used in better, more creative ways. Speaking of Astro and Tiamat, these guys have really good chemistry. I've always really liked the student-teacher duo trope in manga, and it's just as good in this series. Astro is really stupid and bold, and Tiamat is really calm and collected. These two work great together, and their interactions are enjoyable to read. However, ignoring the heroine who is introduced in Book 2, these guys are the only 2 major characters worth paying attention to, which isn't a problem since I've never been a fan of manga just piling characters on in the beginning, but these 2 are the only main characters to follow, so they have to carry this manga, and if you aren't a fan of either one, you won't end up liking this series. I, however, really like these 2. Like I mentioned before, Barrage breaks new ground by providing a shonen protagonist who's really dumb but bold and values his friends. Okay, I kid, yes, he's generic, but he's passable, and I like his strong attachment to family, which is the main theme of the series. You see characters who are suffering familial loss or struggling to love their family, and Astro gets behind these types of characters, since he had to build his own up from nothing. He adopted 6 children because he wanted his own family. He has a strong attachment to what family is, and it's his strongest character trait. Family isn't a common theme when shown in manga compared to something like friendship, and while similar, seeing it here was really refreshing. While Tiamat doesn't get as much development with the limited time we have with him, he still learns to value family through Astro, and having to accept that Astro isn't doing his job to save the world, but rather to help the people who were hurt by the chaos. Okay, let's talk art, and man, I forgot how much I missed Horikoshi's more angular art style. Hero Aka fans who have only watched the anime might not recognize this, but in the early parts of the series, Horikoshi used to have this really blocky, bold look to his line art, especially with the hands. His newer art is a bit more rounded, and while I don't mind his new art at all, his older art style was really unique, and I liked the more cartoony look. Characters are drawn really clear, they really pop, and Horikoshi's facial expressions, even back in 2012, were really expressive and really varied. Poses are interesting, and more importantly, the action poses are really cool and varied as well. Action is clear and flows really nicely, and I was always excited when we got a fight scene. Also, enemy designs are varied, so actions from each fight are always different from the last. This manga isn't all great though. While settings are decent and backgrounds fit their role of putting you in the sci-fi fantasy setting well enough, the world is kinda generic. This is probably the weakest part of the manga, but it's easy to tell this wasn't a focus. In addition, the writing never gets to the amazing levels that Horikoshi's later work gets to. Most of the shonen staple declarations of emotion never have any real power behind them, usually with really flat, basic lines of dialogue or just not having the build-up to back them up. While the series is enjoyable, the plot and writing are very surface level and only do the bare minimum to keep things moving. Unfortunately, that's all I have for Barrage. It only got 16 chapters and was cancelled. Its ending implied that it can continue, but it ended on and soon they brought peace to the world, which really sucks. I thought Barrage had potential, and while its writing wasn't strong, its action and small amount of characters were interesting. Plus, while generic, its premise fits right at home next to Shonen Jump's other series. I regret putting off reading this until now. I overlooked something that had value, and that's my fault. I didn't give it the time it deserved. If you take anything away from this, it's that you shouldn't brush off series like this. You might be overlooking something that you actually might really enjoy. Plus, even if it only acted as a stepping stone for Horikoshi to create something greater, I'm really happy I finally gave it a read, even if all it did was leave me wanting more. And now that we're done with Barrage, I think we should keep reading. As long as I keep this up, I should actually be able to get through all the unread books in my backlog. Never mind. Hey, thanks for watching. If you haven't seen it already, go check out my first manga review on Kengo Hanazawa's I'm a Hero. You could also just subscribe if you want to see more of my reviews. If you want to support more of my creative endeavors, go check out my webcomic, Devil's Moon. Chapter 4 is finished and it's coming out this Sunday. Thanks again for watching.